everyone. Welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker training. I'm Richard Carlton, creator of FM Training at TV, where every day is an exciting day to learn about the Claris FileMaker platform. So today is going to be a continuation of yesterday. Let's do some low-hanging fruit stuff here. And so today's a parts conversation. I was just having a parts conversation in there. Let me get to that momentarily. The next thing is to appreciate supporting the channel. This is free training for a bunch of people. If you want to support the channel, let me tell you that if you're confused about any of this or you want to have more information about this, purchase one of these bundles here, supports the channel. You're going to get access to all the deluxe training, including the 60-day, which we're continuing to edit and make beautiful and then post. And we spent like 3 days on data modeling. So if you're confused about, well, I don't understand why it's a library and this sort of thing, we spent a lot of time in the 60-day thing. With that in mind, let's talk about, we're going to pick up from yesterday a little bit. I'm going to share my screen here. There are absolutely right ways to data model this. There's more than one way to data model it correctly. There's also absolutely some wrong ways to data model it. And so there's some SQL people here who, if you're a purist, be careful with that because there's more than one right way to do this in FileMaker, right? The issue is that if you're an OCD, and you get into this and you have a fervent belief about how something should be designed, just understand it may not be the same in other software because other software may have strengths and weaknesses which you're not, maybe don't know about, right? It's like if I jump in helicopter A and I say, well, I'm going to fly it this way. And it's a different manufacturer and someone else. And people say, no, you should do it per the way it's approved by the manufacturer. Like, no, 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 it's always done this way because doing it this way is always the best way, right? That's how you have an accident. So you need to make sure you customize the way you handle something based upon what tools you're using at the time, right? So anyway, so yesterday we're talking, so the whole conversation is about this, what we call an MR, material requisition form, and this is what it looks like here. And what was interesting about it is that then there's different colors of these that go everywhere. And these are the ones that are given to, like, you might give this to the reorder lady, and then she sends you this one back, or you get this one back. And I don't even remember what the colors are. To me, it's kind of arbitrary. I think we'll probably put the words pink or yellow or something when we do printouts of this. Eventually, we're going to have to be able to backstop this with paper if they choose to hit the print button on it. But what we wanted to do yesterday was this was what as we interviewed the mechanics and we interviewed the parts people, because the parts people, once again, as a reminder, it's kind of funny. So this is all the shops, the helicopters are worked on out here. There's a bunch of helicopters in here. If I turn this, the back of the building upstairs, right, is up there where the parts person hides up there upstairs. And then that person manages a huge inventory of parts, this big elevated walk space up there. And that's where all the parts are at. And there was a little bit of a conversation there yesterday about, well, should we let mechanics pull parts and this, that, and the other thing. And once again, I'm trying to make sure that the customers, one of the big pieces of things with software is that you build a piece of software and people don't want to use it. Okay. That's bad. That's fundamentally bad. You don't want that. You want the people to want to use your software. As a result of that, I'm not trying to limit or restrict what they do. I want to get them to transition from the paper to the software with as few jarring mental hurdles that they have. Once they're using the software and they're feeling comfortable with it to a degree, 3 months down the road or 4 months down the road or however long it is down the road, then they can come back and say, well, it'd be really great if we could restrict this or do this or change their workflow. Okay, but right now I want to mimic the paperwork workflow. So so this is the conversation. This leads us to clean up yesterday's conversation a little bit. Mechanics can add individual parts for a project. So back up here, the aircraft rolls in, and this is what they do. And we have on screen, we can do exactly the same thing on screen. We can be over, if I go to recents and Big Valley over here, I'll open this up. Let's see. It's on an Amazon cloud server. And the performance is a wireless over here. It's pretty good performance. So what ends up happening is we go over here. Well, let's pick this one right here. And so this area right here, this parts area here, is this piece of paper. That is the equivalent. The plan is that will be the equivalent. Okay. We don't have all the columns over here yet. That's kind of what we've been working on, but I wanted to get in this mode where this is where it's at. So then the conversation went like this, and this is so important. They go, well, we need an area where we can type the parts in. Literally, this is exactly the conversation. And this will help all of you who yesterday were having a hard time understanding about the library conversation. Remember the library? Like, what's the library? Why do we need a library? Okay. This is the conversation. You could solve this problem as a FileMaker developer 3 or 4 different ways. Okay. But this is what the customer says. I can fill it out by hand over here. Here it is over here. So if I create a new record over here, so what happens is that they're like, well, so we have paper over here, we built over here. Okay, let's put some parts in over here. So they start typing in this over here, right? And they start typing stuff in. And they go, and then that's when they go, well, it'd be really great if I didn't have to type all this in. And you, as a responsive developer, go, how can we make that easier for you? And they would say something like, well, if we always are doing the same, not always, but if a lot of the maintenance we do is kind of cookie cutter repetitive maintenance, we talked about this in the 60-day training. I just reviewed the video on this. If we keep doing repetitive tasks, we want to automate that with a script. So how do we have this fill out with a script? Okay. So they add individual words, right? And then they say, well, it's a computer. I shouldn't have to type everything in every time because what's the point? I might as well just do it with paper, right? And so it becomes a funny conversation because what happens is that they go, well, if it's already been done before, why don't we just recycle what was already done? And so immediately if I go back over here to my record here, this isn't me. Let me see. Let's go back over here. I need a record that we can pull like this one here. So if this is your list here, these are the records here. Each one is a portal. Each one of these is a list. There's a little bit of a graphic boo-boo in here, Margaret. We'll have to fix that. But each one of these is a record. So then somewhere else, I should have another set of records somewhere that I can copy and paste from. So copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. So then you need to have a part like something that you copy from. And that's where we came up with the idea of the product catalog. It's a catalog of expected canned mechanic things that we do. Oil change, right? We talked about oil change in your car every 5,000 to 10,000 miles. When you go to the Jiffy Lube, they're not like, oh, we've never seen this car before. Not unless you drive in with a DeLorean or some Back to the Future with the little time warp thing on it. Then they'll be like, how do we change the oil on this? Now you got a Toyota, whatever, Maxima, Nissan, Chevrolet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here and so what we end up having is we have this library, okay? And really what we forget the library here. This right here is like our master list that we copy from. So we're going to write a script that's going to fill this out. Ding, 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 ding. So we build this for them. I have a table over here somewhere and it says master list and they just say, fill it in. And they go ding, 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 and it fills in. They're like, well, that's for this certain kind of inspection. But what if we have this other manufacturer with a different inspection or it's a 5-year inspection? It's different. Okay, well, now I need another master list of things to pull from. I had one master list. And then you realize you need a different master list. And so you realize you're going to have multiple master lists over here. And when you find the correct master list, then you're going to go copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, because this is the records that are on. This has to relationally, that has to be this way. These are records that are used on the work order. These happen to be records that are used as a source to copy and paste from. Make sense?
Yeah, you mimic those records. You create
you mimic these records. But this is the fundamental I guess they were arguing about yesterday. And
they weren't really arguing. It's like it's a complicated concept. Like I said, we did this for discrepancies, same concept, and it took me forever to grasp that as an idea. So
yeah, and I understand that. I think the rub with this is that initially, if you're going to build this, you need to have a lot of experience. You would come up with a master list. And then when someone say, well, there's other master lists. And so what we do is when you're going to fill this out over here, it'll pop up these master lists over here. And they would and you're like, I want that master list, or I want this master list, I want this master list, and then it fills it in for you. So suddenly you could design it a couple different ways, but the simplest way is that the master list, a parts list, I call a library, you could call it a catalog, right? Um, and it's
Hmm.
for this aircraft inspection. So you select it, then so really when we script it, when we script it over here, what you see, this is really great. Let me just walk you through. Because remember, one of our rules in our 60-day training, if you haven't bought our subscription, please buy it. Trust me, you'll be worth the investment. We spend a lot of time explaining scripting portals. Scripting portals is it's very difficult to do. It's not easy at all remotely. Okay. So what ends up happening is that we don't script the portal because a portal, this record right here, this is the parent data right here, this data right here. These are the line items right here. These are the line items right here that belong to it. So what we would say is that you select this one. So then we would come over here and identify, our script goes, we do a pop-up list and you see this. So if I go to parts library, like this one right here. So if I go to like this, yeah, save that. So here's a list of the parts libraries that we have. And then probably on here would be the description of it, the one that says it's 206 or whatever it is, that this item that was, yeah, let me go back to this. Let me see if I can go to layout mode. I'm gonna let me see, drag another one. Let me see, can I drag on the name? There's is that the parts? Let me see, there's a description, and how about the name?
Parts name. It's called parts name, which is why you learn how to sync. Oh, whoops.
library name. Okay, there we go. Browse mode. Do we have that now? There it is. So there we go. So you're going to see on a list, the user sees this, they click on it. Your script's going to go copy. It's going to copy this into memory. Then it's going to jump over to the parts library line items, which are over here. And then it's going to do a find mode. This, every line item has a unique number, but these are the libraries they belong to. So show me all the line items for this library right here. Okay. Now come over here, copy paste, copy paste. Now over here, we wouldn't paste it in the portal either. We'd actually navigate the user. We would we'd find the work order number over here. So we come over here, we find this, work order is this one right here, copy that number. Then we go over here to, we want the parts used on a work order. And I'll just say this view right here. I'm gonna say, I could do a find, I guess, start with that. So show me anyone that are on this one already. So that's on it. But if you had a new one, you'd have let me see, you'd say show all, and I just flip omit. So there's none found. So if you had a brand new work order, you'd identify the parts you want. This one over here, that's all blank. So then you say, your script would say, create a new record here. Then you would basically copy and paste the data over here back and forth, creating the new record, and filling in the data, filling in. So that way this list matches that list. That's the way we constructed it. Could you do variations of that? Sure, absolutely. But when talking to them, because I've been doing this so long, so I'm also training with you all folks here, is that I knew that if I just built them one generic list, that they would outgrow that. And about 8 minutes after I'd finished building it, they would outgrow it. They'd be like, well, that's really swell. Except what if we want this Sikorsky Blackhawk thing, right? Not a Bell helicopter, different manufacturer, different parts, right? So that makes sense. So this is kind of an important thing.
Yes. We had a question which I answered, but I will also say it out loud. Which is, what if they realize they chose the wrong list to duplicate? Like they picked the wrong catalog. After the records were created.
They
Do you
asked me
delete
about
them or do
that.
you start the new work order? We've done this. I fixed a bug with a variation of the system.
Okay, so what you could do, we haven't done this. Okay, so backup, there's no undo. FileMaker, if you write a bunch of script sets that say go here and go here, go back and forth and set fields and create new, there's no undo for that. FileMaker doesn't support that kind of undo. You could, it's a really great question. You could be over in here, back to the user interface, which is this one right here, probably. You could be over here and you could say delete all or delete some of them. Now there is a delete over here. There's supposed to be, I don't know if it's working at the moment. I could hold down the modifier key and see if it actually works. We're going to nuke the one, whatever it's called. I'm going to say delete. It didn't delete it. So that's once again, this is partly what we'll fix. But you could delete individual ones, but you wouldn't want to do that 20 or 30 times. You might have a nuke all but. Um, and
Yeah,
yeah, because you could start a new work order, but if you already have a bunch of work over here you're doing, then yeah, there's no easy answer for that unless you just if you did nothing else on this work order and you added the parts, you blew it, create a new one, right, and play it that way. Then call your developer and say, can you get rid of this? But delete all, or you could say delete and you could check off certain ones and then have it delete those certain ones, like a multi-select, like on your iPhone or whatever,
yes.
select.
I I had this happen because first of all I had a support call from this customer about this. If you click discrepancies, which is built similarly, and you click the little three dots next to save, you will notice there is delete all discrepancies for this work order. It's basically the same problem. How that works is it doesn't actually delete it. And I had to fix a bug with this because I ran into some bugs with it the other day. But basically, it breaks the relationship between these line items and this work order. So, on the off chance someone has entered important things and they have made them, and the other person deletes them, and one mechanic goes like, "What have you done? I entered important crap there," and the other mechanic's like, "Well, I didn't. It looked like it was wrong, so I deleted all of them because I didn't need them." Um, the developer can go hunt them down. They don't. They still exist. They are a
Yeah,
broken
well,
relationship, not a
so the relationship here
vanished.
is this order. Remember, this one is W0424. And this is attached, that right there, that's the primary key over there. This is the foreign key. So if I go in here and I get rid of this, let me see if I have one in here I can throw away. There's one right here. It's blank. Okay. If I go in here and I click and what I could do is I can delete it and clear it. Or I could change it to some other junk number. But if I just delete this right here and then I click out, this record wasn't deleted, but it was disconnected from this. The relationship's broke. It's going to drop off the portal. 1, 2, 3, click out. Okay, and it refreshed, and now it's gone. Is it deleted? No, we can go back and resuscitate it. We could even have them go and resuscitate it if they wanted to. So interesting, interesting, interesting. So with that in mind, other questions on that? That's a great question, right? But
Hmm.
okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to close this for the moment. What we're going to do is relationally go through the process of adding this to our database. And so I'm going to close the part thing there. We have the diagram thing here if we need it. I got Discord there if I need that. I got Slack there if we need that. I have this over here. So let me go. My database is on a FileMaker server. It's on this server right here. We're going to open this up. This is our parts live stream file that we're going to make available to all of you. If I go over here to products, no, not products. I don't want to go to projects. Then I have this parts right here. We haven't built anything in here. So Margaret and I have been kind of what we did is we already defined 3 tables for us. Okay. So we know that we need a parts that is on the work or on the project. In BVA, it's called a work order here. It's a project or a job. Project job is a good name, is really what they should call it. BVA in their brain calls it a work order because it all revolves around the work order, but really it's a job or project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go file, manage, database. I'm going to go to tables. So what we did is we had projects, then we had parts, library, line items, parts used, and that was used on project. I could say on project, right? So it's super like, well, why are you being verbose? I said, when I come back in 6 months, I know I know what the hell we did, right? What that is. So this is you don't even have to parts consumables. I think the idea was originally put consumables in here, Mark, because I thought that if we had serialized parts, it's the opposite. A consumable doesn't have a serial number. Like
Yeah,
a can of
yeah,
oil is a consumable. A toner cartridge is a consumable. Ethernet cable is a consumable, but a stereo inside your car, the starter, the motor in your car, those are serial number parts. It's not a consumable. So I don't know the word consumable has to be there per se. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just drop that name and change it to keep the name simpler. And so it's parts, parts, parts. Okay. So then I say change. So we created these tables. Relationship-wise, when you create a table, it drops them at the top of the layout, right? So we have these three right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them down here a little bit, scroll down to I scroll down to the bottom. Okay, so there's the bottom. So we have this nav thing here. I'll change that. So that's navigation, not very big. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to call it 34. Okay. And then 34 is going to be, uh,
Library.
yeah, you do it this way, parts library. Okay.
Yes.
And I'll make it 48. So it's a little bit less obnoxious for us here. And then, and what I'm doing here, all of you should be doing this. This is the way you do it. A lot of times I say, well, there's 5 different ways to do it and are all equivalent. Here, that's not true. This is the way you do it. If you are Todd Geis and you're smarter than Richard Carlton, then you can do it your way. But if you don't have, say, 5 to 10 years of FileMaker experience, don't invent your own way of designing the relationship graph because you'll screw it up. This is called Anchor Buoy. It's very much a cookbook, plug and chug kind of thing. And it's super important that you do this correctly. And that'll make your life much easier. So what we did, we define the table, then we build a table occurrence group for each one, okay, in that order. So I'm going to go to parts, library, I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to make it like this. I'm going to double click it. I'm going to call it T34. Well, what number should we use? Technically, it doesn't matter. This could be doggy 55. It doesn't matter what it is, but I number them so they'll sort together. Okay, that makes sense? So what's the next one? If I take this and I duplicate it, what's the next one? T35.
Yep. T35 parts line items.
Parts. It's for the parts library line
item.
items. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we got.
So then I'm going to bring that down there. That'll free up more room. So then, yeah, I'll just leave it like that. Double click it. So for those of you wanting more explanation on the Anchor Buoy, we've got a live stream on this in our 60-day training. It's not free. It's not a free video. It requires a voluntary donation. So it requires a donate to buy one of the subscriptions, and then you get all that. We spent 3 days on this, or 4 days on this. It's in there. It helped explain. So we say, okay, duplicate, come down, 36. Okay, so we got that done. I'm going to hit OK. Now remember, none of this is saved until you hit OK. So if we crash or lose our internet connection, we would lose all our hard work. So if you hang out here for a long time, make sure that you take a timeout and hit OK to have it saved back either to the local file, to the FileMaker server. I highly recommend you doing development on the FileMaker server. It will protect you. So with that in mind now, Margaret had, when we built, or Margaret defined the tables yesterday, it gave us a table occurrence one. It also gave us a layout by default. So what we have, and these are all the, so we have these layouts right here, Margaret, and we have these over here. Those are
the pretty ones that
the
have
pretty ones.
Yeah.
And these are the core, like almost like maintenance ones, right? So
yeah.
What I'm going to do is let's go to manage layout briefly here. So we'll start this managing here. I'm going to say projects, tasks, maintenance. And then what I would probably do is I'm going to leave maintenance there. I'm going to create a new folder. And I'm going to call it parts library. And it'll be 1600, I guess. And it does that. And I am going to duplicate and edit in parts library line items 17. Once again, this is just me laying the groundwork, doing this as cleanly as I can for everyone. Okay, that's all done. So there's no save on this. This is one of those dialogues that's different. Once again, kind of counterintuitive, but this one saves as you go, okay? I'm going to put this one in here. That one goes in there. Parts library goes in the top one. Whoop. Did it get it?
I think
Nah, I
that
think it
vanished
went
into
it,
maintenance.
it went into maintenance. Wrong one. I'm going to put it right on top of parts library. Let go. There it goes. It's in there. And this one goes in here. Now, oh, nope. All right. So there we go. So if I turn it down, you can see it's in there. Great. Now, here's the deal. These are the three at the top that we're playing with right now. I'm going to fix this one for Margaret. So she has layout 600, parts library line items. So once again, these could be in their own folder down here. I'm going to leave them out for right now. These are would be what we would call the maintenance layouts, right? It's you have one that's what we call maintenance. So when we have a script that runs, so here's the deal with maintenance layouts. A maintenance layout, if you look back up here, you see the little laser firework thing on there? That means that there are landmines on that layout. It's a script. It's a script. It's like, hey, we're going to go to Ukraine and have a picnic. Oh, yeah, everyone quit shooting each other. That's great. Walk out there to picnic, blow yourself up. You and your bologna sandwiches get blown sky high. Landmine. Don't step on the landmine. The maintenance layouts, I specifically do not allow triggers on, so I don't accidentally fire a script that I didn't mean to fire. So that's why I have these. They don't have to have the T number in them. Not required. In fact, you probably wouldn't have the T number. You'd put the other number on there. But for the moment, yeah, I say like 1700, right? So you just say 1700, something like that, right? Or L1700, my bad, the naming on there. So I'll be consistent with that. I'm going to fix this one here too. Okay. L1600. Okay. And so, yeah, this is how, once again, people are like, oh, you're wasting a lot of time. I said, when you come back to this in 6 months or a year or in 5 years, or someone else comes behind you, they will have a chance of understanding what you did. Okay.
The opportunity will be
The
there.
opportunity will be there. Okay. So, so we have these here. Maintenance ones, I'm not going to drop the user on. They're a place I go for scripting. Okay. Now they're set. And so Margaret, so these layouts here are also based on the same, see that? So let's go to parts library. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to open this. I'm just going to open that up. Here it is. I'm going to go to layout mode real quick. So we copied this from somewhere else, from BVA. If I can draw, this is all local data, and this is all local data right here. This right here it was the portal that was unknown. So this is the question, and this is such an important thing with Anchor Buoy. People come over here and they go, whoa, what goes on here? It's kind of almost a trick question. Say I hadn't got this layout, I haven't looked at it yet. We're over here laying this out. What goes on here? What's the answer, Margaret?
The library line items.
Wrong answer. Nothing goes on there. We build this, then
Yes.
we build, after we get this, then we build the layout. And the layout starts as blank. So let me help everyone out here. This is because we pre-baked this. This is like kind of pre-baked a little bit. I'm gonna hit OK. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start a brand new layout. Okay. This will make it easier for him. I'm going to say part library live TV. Okay. So here we go. I got that part library. It's a computer layout. It'll be a form view, finish. There you go. Okay. So now we have the table. We have the table occurrence. We have a layout. And then you build that. In fact, it'll build this for you, this layout automatically for you initially. And what happens is that we come over here to manage database. People say, once again, what goes on here? Nothing. This is the tail wagging the dog. Okay, the dog is up here, or actually the dog is the layout, right? What do you have on here? Nothing yet. And nothing goes on down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say the library name. I'm going to put the library description. Okay, there it is. And then I want to say, and then while we're at it, we'll say is the ID parts library. Okay. So this is the primary key for this, right? We all understand this, right? And so I'm going to go to browse mode, and I'm going to show the top status too. I have two records in here. I created two automatic entries. Part.
That's a
That's
side effect of
library.
me copying from
Yeah, that's fine.
the BVA.
So I have a record here. Doesn't matter. I can delete the records. So here we have a layout. I say new record. That's the next serial number. This is going to be, let's call it is it Canberra, 57, helicopter. There we go. That's a new model number. Okay. Description, tab. There we go. That's the Canberra description. All these work. So everyone, this is the library. Okay. I'm going to say something over here. This is the library, and it should show you all the parts needed to perform this specific service. Yes, service. So what service? There we go. So then you go like, well, what's supposed to be on here? Okay. What do we need on here? Right? Margaret, what do we need on here?
The parts that need
the parts, great. So how do we get the parts? Where are the parts at? They're in another table. How do we access another table? We use a portal generally. So I'm going to say portal. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select the portal. I need the relationship that connects to this table 34. Nothing's connected to it. Holy shit. Okay, that's a problem. Okay. So what you realize is that you need to add something to the relationship graph to support what you want to put on the screen. This is the way you do it. You only put things on the graph that you specifically need to support the layout.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Remember this? Remember this?
Yes.
Did you never quite internalize it?
The thing is, I already knew it needed the line items, so I didn't process what you were saying in terms of, or attempting to convey.
So what you don't want to do, and almost everyone here did this, they're like, where's all this stuff? We don't know what we need yet. Why not? Because you got to build the layout. The layout is attached to these. Well, don't we want to just add everything to it? Because, like, look at this. There's a whole bunch of shit attached to this.
Yeah, every but you only added that because you needed it.
Are here because we needed them. Well, how come there's only one here? Because we only need one. How come there's, less here? Because we only needed these to make the layout attached to that work. This is a big, big deal. It was one of the core focuses of our 60-day training from about 2 months ago. So once again, I'm going to come over here to parts 34. I'm going to say, I need a table occurrence. I'm going to little plus button. I'm going to add that. I want the parts library. Oh no, line items. I say, okay, it drops it on the screen. I'm going to bring it up here. I'm going to roll this down and down a little further so I can see it. I have the ID. Once again, I'm not going to get into relationship design on this. If some of you are really that lost, you really, really, really need to go and check out the 60-day training as part of our thing, because this stuff is in there. It's all in there. So here we have the ID of the parts library right here. It's a primary key. It's going to connect to the foreign key of the parts library right here. Okay. Well, you've connected something. Yes. But to make it more understandable, we're going to give it T. 34. What are we going to put right here? Anyone who's not Margaret?
A. Kyle Williams votes A.
Kyle Williams knows better too. You shouldn't answer a question. There's A. And you're like, wow, that's really great. And the next one down will be B. So anytime we see a T34 anywhere, we know that it's connected to this group. Well, why don't you connect it down here, this down here, or this up here, and blah, 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 blah. Because the performance of your solution will go off a cliff, right? So we're back to this issue right here real quick. If I go to the 60-day training for all of you, I've got this one right here. I'm going to hit OK. It's going to save the change of server. I'm going to go File. I'm going to go to Host. I'm going to go to DBW4. I'm going to go to so I go to the 60-day training. This is what I'm talking about. We beat this topic up a lot in here. Relationships, conceptual data model, what you're talking about, more data modeling after that with relationship graph, introduction to portals, 3 sections on portals, minimum relationships. All this we've covered. So I think some of you missed that. I can't recommend enough, because it takes time to explain it, and we took the time there to do a great job. So we needed the line items here. We needed a relationship. We built the relationship.
We can
We,
now add our
we can
portal of
now add
joy.
the portal. And we say, oh, look, it's T34. What if there are a bunch of them, the T34 B, C, D, E, F, G? Come over here. We say, okay. Then we're going to say, well, I'd really like it to show me the parts. Let's see, the library would be. Is it going to be a name? Not
Let's
global. We
go
need.
scroll down, part
There we
name,
go.
part
Part
number. Yep.
name and part number, and there'll be a bunch of other stuff too. So we say, okay. And then you could have it labeled above, blah, blah, blah. But you go browse mode, there you go. So now you have it functional. And so it's here. We can't really see anything because we don't have anything set up in here. Um, let me just double click that. I can say create the label. Okay. I put the label up there. Double click this, create the label, put it up
I did not
here.
realize that was a checkbox that existed.
It is. I learned that took me 10 years to learn that. Yeah, because we're going so fast, I don't have time to read all the little subtle things in it. The
Yep.
other thing is that if you want to create the related records on the portal here, which is great for end
Don't we
users,
have to enable that in the relationship?
correct. File, database, back to relationship graph. We go to the bottom. In here is the connection. We have to say allow ID part primary to ID part foreign key, allow creation of related records. We hit OK on that. So is this making sense? I'm hopefully this is review for most of you. And if it's not, please get this. If you buy one of the subscriptions, you get access to 60-day training. Spend time watching that. It will really help you. So I come over here and I can say part name. It's the Mikey Mike um, stimulator. Okay. I don't know what that is. It sounds like a very exciting piece of equipment. And so Mikey Mike, that's Mikey Mike, right?
Ken Barrett liked to request a 30 millimeter Gatling gun. So
Bear 57, 30 millimeter. I don't know if they have a Gatling gun that big or not. Well, it's on the A10. So yeah, Gatling gun and it's off the A10. It shoots the depleted uranium generally. All right, so then that's got some part number on there. Okay, so it's such an important concept here. So, and I know we're off in the weeds a little bit, but this is so essential. So first off, you get the information from the customer. The customer wants to add individual line items, and then they want you to load a whole wad of stuff, right? And so you
yes.
you have to have the area. We have Mikey Mike, we have Larry, the Marine, and the Marines got rid of all their M1 Abrams tanks. They said they would just borrow the armies if they needed them. And everyone who knows anything about the Army knows that if the Marines are in sufficient deep that they need to borrow a tank, the Army's already going to be screwed and won't have any tanks to borrow, but that's on the Marine Corps. So Larry's just taking just his rifle, M4. There we go. Although I think he could have a better rifle than that. So there's Larry the Marine's got that. So then over here, we know that if we were on if I pop a new window, how come I can't pop a new window? Here. There we go. New window. I come over here. I say, well, I'm going to be I'm going to the home screen. I'm going to go to projects. I want to be on parts over here. And so what I want to do is if I select the Canberra 57 helicopter, I can select that and then it's going to go copy these items and put them in over here and copy these items and put them over here and copy these items and put them over here. Okay. Yeah, but are we going to do it on this screen here? Yeah, probably what we ought to do is build another layout like this, right? So do we have another layout? Say new window. Uh, Over here, I'm going to say this window is going to be, let's just create a new window because layout, Margaret, going to layout, command or control L layout mode. I'm going to say new
Mm-hmm.
layout. I'm going to say parts, library. Oh no, parts used on project. And you're like, so what table does that get data out of? I don't know. It was like 34, 35, 36 were the ones we had.
Yes.
36. There it is. So we say that's the one we use. Okay. So this layout is attached to that. Okay. Let's do a list view. List view. Okay, great. Then we're over here. And then so what fields do we need? We need I'll go to fields, parts used on project.
We
Oh, there's already some
want.
fields in there. There's already some fields in there. I didn't realize there were fields. Oh, yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna hit OK. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, so I copied what we made the other day, so we had it
Sure.
already.
Sure. Yeah. So we have a parts name. Well, actually, what I want to do is I want to look over here. I want the label to show up at the top. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Parts like that, kind of. The field has to be on there though. Okay. Parts name, part number, something like that. Okay. So you go to browse mode. Okay. And you say new record. Okay. And you're like, well, the system should go. When we run the script, it's going to go brink, 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 and then brink, 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 and brink, 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 and then create new record. And brink, that's what our script's going to do. So if you can visualize what the script is doing, now the mechanics don't want to do this. This is what happened at the beginning of the day. They were like, well, since I can put this in, but why do I have to type them all in if this is going to be the same every day? Right?
Yes. What's the point of computers if you can't make it faster?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and say, well, these are the parts that are used on a project. So I'm going to come up here and say part used on a project. I'm going to click on that. Shift, Command, Option, and greater than, I think, is a shortcut to make it bigger. It's kind of a weird, obscure thing there. Over here, I have part number twice. I need this to be do we have a project ID on here yet? Maybe not. Let's see.
No, because
File, manage. Yeah, yeah. So think about this, right? So um, if just think about this for a second. I'm going to set this down here. I'm going to come back over here. We're on this screen here. We're on this screen here. We're on this layout right here. Okay. We want to see the parts that were used on this. Okay. We belong to this layout right here. If I hit the little pencil button right here, it'll pop up. This is the name. This is its base TO. This is the base TO, T16. Okay. File, manage, database. We go back to here. We get relationships. We want T16. Is there oh, 16 was on the right, wasn't it?
yes, it's at the very top of the right.
Oh, there it
Right.
is. There's T16. Oh, it's got a lot of shit in it. Wow.
I mean, it's
Okay.
projects.
It's projects, and there's a lot of moving pieces of the projects, right? So you got that. So then you're like, whoa. So this is kind of what you'd have with starting point, right? So then I'm going to select all these up here. I'm going to kind of move. Oop, I want to, I'm going to, I just want to
Yeah.
move. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to move these up.
Scooch.
Okay. Then um, I need to be able to see the related parts. Well, you need a relationship for that. Fine. Then you come over and add it right here. Notice we're only adding relationships when we need something specifically. It's
And
such a,
we're adding it to projects and not the parts because we only have one project and many parts, right? So we'd want to
well,
make.
I'm not even worried about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, I'm not even thinking about what else I might need to do. I'm just solving this problem right here.
Yes.
I want the parts to show up here. There's no way they're going to show, unless I have a connection, there's no way they show up over here. So
Hmm.
I'm not even thinking about all the other because you can't keep all this in your head. I mean, okay, Kyle Williams can keep this in his head. I am not Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams is far smarter than I am. Okay. I just know that if I follow these basic rules, I'm not. Here's the thing: most of you understand. I am not nearly as smart as most of you are, but I've come up with basic rules to help me be successful. And so the anchor buoy was a great idea, but then you have to really force yourself to follow the rules of that, and then you get a very high performance database, right? Well, there's more efficient ways of doing this. Okay, fine, go do that. But if you're that good at building a FileMaker solution, then probably you're not here. Handful of you are here because you want to supervise me and keep me making a mess. I get that, right? You want to better keep an eye on Richard. He's kind of shifty. I get that. But I mean, if you know enough to argue with me about that's fine. But most of the intermediate people here build it this way, follow these instructions, you will have a high performance database when you're done. So I'm going to go back over to projects. I'm going to say I want a new table occurrence. I want the projects used on a project. Okay. And then we know already it's going to be T16. What's after U? T-U-V
Z.
W-U-V. There's supposed to be a V in here. Hang on. I'm going to put a V.
Oh. Oh,
So
okay.
it's T. See, Yeah, because we had some in there that I think they got nuked. TUV. Let me do Victor.
16, not V,
Oh,
not 15.
sorry. Now, would that have really mattered in the technical part? No, but it would have caused everyone's brain to explode
Yeah,
because
well, if
they,
I saw that, I would have gone like, what?
why? Why?
Yeah,
Why?
why is that the wrong number?
Yeah. So then we started like this, so it's a little bit splayed down. Do I have an ID project on here? I do not have an ID project, so I got to go back to fields. I go to projects, use on project. I need a ID project for, and I hold the option key down on the Mac and an F. It gives you this little kind of squiggly F, or you can just do a regular F if you want. Okay, whatever. But say create the field. It's a text field. Create it. Go back to relationships. Scroll down here. ID project foreign key to ID project. It's probably right there. Okay, you got it. Okay, and it's kind of over. Okay, what I'll do is if I roll this up, we'll see if that makes it. Yeah, it's a little bit better. So now to save it, what do? We hit OK. It saves it to the server. Then because I can come over here now and I can just make a little. Oh man, this scrolls so fast. There we go. Something
Yeah,
like
it
let's just
goes
do
from
something.
being nice and slow to like light speed at
So
like,
then what will be up here? What will we see up here? Show records from the current, basically, it's all the relationships, but the ones at the top are the ones that are really eligible for us to use. They're the ones as part of the table occurrence group. They all have
hmm
a T16.
yeah.
There we go. And okay. Then I'm going to say, show me the part name, part number, selling price, whatever, all the other stuff that we need. Okay. Okay, you got that. You could put labels above it. You go to browse mode. So this is an essential part of the conversation. And then so today is building this out, um, but and then I really want to make sure that we clean up and clear out the anchor buoy conversation, relationship conversation. People don't have any questions on that because going forward, I'm going to try to avoid those questions and push on with other.
What we're doing with the actual
Yeah,
layouts and the
yeah,
catalog management. Yes.
yes.
Uh, we have a question from RC Jet Jockey, which is about managing the catalog. Are you
Yeah.
actually copying each record from the library, or would you do a clever relationship to add? Uh,
I would look for simplicity. I would, well, we can write this. We can go ahead and do that. I would, um, in fact, some of this we'll do tonight. We'll bring it back tomorrow because it's to build this all
yes.
and
No, it's
explain
just
it. It's going to be
compli.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would set them into or variables. I'd set them into global fields or variables, right? So I would go. So to do the copy paste thing, yeah, I could say the word copy paste is essentially what it is, but I would be over here. I'd be in browse mode. Okay. What I would do is once you selected it over here, I would grab, I would grab the project, assuming that's the project. Is that the actual project ID? That kind of sucks. If I create a new, oh, there it is. There's a number that's one I would recognize, right? So there we go. I would grab something like that. I'd copy it. Then, or I'd put it into a variable. Then I come over here, or I come over here and I would find not this layout, but I'd want to find the that's the maintenance one. Where's the oh, we haven't built that yet. It's the library oh no, the library used on where's the part
Uh,
library?
uh, look up. It's at very top of your list. Library line
Well, this is the
items.
one that we already had kind of oh, I guess we can use this one. That's fine. Um, hmm. Yeah, because it's really kind of three pieces the way it works here. So what you're going to do is you need to capture in a variable the project number we had. Then you would also have captured the library or the catalog that you wanted to grab stuff, right? So you'd be over here, you have the library live TV, you grab that number in the variable, okay? Then we go to this layout over here. I'm going to call it no, hang on. Yeah, let me close that. I'm going to say, go to layout mode, new layout. I'm going to call it parts 35, parts, library, line items, TV. Just saying that we did this live on TV. Let's view. Okay. Okay, great. Well, whatever. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to say, give me the parts name, number. Also, I need the library foreign key here. That's what I need. So we'll put all this stuff. Oh, God. See, there it goes. Let me do it this way. Try it again. There we go. So it kind of gets it halfway baked. It doesn't horribly suck too bad. So we come down here. We need to make sure it breaks in the right spot. There we go. So then these can move up a little bit. Part name, part number, part library. This can be technically smaller, and these would be, of course, probably smaller. And this is just the basics of it. So what you have is you have really three things here. You've got this, you've got this one. So to make this work, this is used on the project, right? This is used actually on the project, using a project. This is our library to look up from. So you say, oh, let me see, is there any other layouts open? There is this one. There it is, this one here. You're over here and you're like, oh, I want to add a library. You click on it. It's going to pop a list of the available libraries that you can have, right? Right, there's only one in here right now. You pick the library, okay? Then from that point, it's going to grab that and it'll grab that into a variable. So that's the library name. It's going to grab the project number, right? Whatever the project number was over here. And so it's going to come over here and says, okay, we've got that right now. We're good there. Let's do a find. So we need all the records from this. Okay, got that? Come over here. I'm going to create a new record because I had a variable already going. So you're over here on the project. You would go back to over here. You go to left. Okay. You have it's damn it. I got to get it off the bottom parts. Then we go to the right a little bit more. There's notes. Oh, there's the ID right there. So you have that. So I'm going to get this out of the way. So then you're over here. So you're saying, well, I'm just going to Command J. I'm going to just show nothing in the found set. So it found these. So then you're going to say create, new record over here. You're going to end up sticking in the work order, wherever the work, whatever we're missing a field here. Part name, part name, part number. Oh, part number's in here twice. I need ID, work order, foreign key.
No, you want project foreign key, not work order foreign key.
Thank you. That's just because
used to using work orders, yes.
For BVA, they call them work orders, and then they're really projects. ID, project, F, foreign key. So we go back to browse mode. So you create a new record, you're going to stick that in there. So it shows up on the project. Then you're going to basically load this and this, and you'll set these into variables. Oops. And then it'll loop. It'll keep looping until it gets to here. Then the loop says, go to next record, exit after last. It tries to go to the next record. There's no next record. It jumps out of the loop. We could write this tomorrow if we want. We could write it today. If you want a little bit, we could do that. My goal is to answer questions though, so we're clear on this. So it would do the first one. It comes over and says, go to next record. Over here, go to next record. Here's the next record. Grab this, set it in the variable, set that in the variable. Come over here. That would come out of a variable, and I'm kind of simulating with copy and paste here, but that would have come out of the variable too. And then along the way, every time you'd always set. So you have at least 3 variables going here. Variable for each one of these right here, plus the library. So 4. Project foreign key, the library that we're going to snarf stuff out of, right?
Yeah.
And then the part name and the part for each of the items. Tink, 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 tink. So then come back over here again. New record over here. You're going to set that as a variable, right? It makes it look more convoluted, but you can tell I'm going back and forth and back, like ping pong, back and forth. And every pass back and forth is one record over here that I've captured. So then on the third one, I'd be down here. Paste that. Once again, I would have set it. I'm going back and forth to copy paste, but you'd set variable, set field, set field. Does that make sense, everyone? Then I come
Hmm.
back over here, go to next record. Error. There's no next record. That causes your script to exit. Then you're like, oh, we're all good. Then what you do is you close this window, come back over here to parts, and
And you
look
will
at the
notice
shit's
that
filled in.
magically the portal has the list of everything you're looking for.
Magically delicious, yes. That's our Lucky Charms. So
So,
so you see how that works? So we don't, once again, we learned this in the 60-day training. We try not to control and script the portal because it's very unwieldy. We pop a window like this and we have our script work against basically maintenance layouts.
yeah, no, I did this morning 'cause there was a bug with a button. But basically just add a basic new row to a portal, and that's
Mm-hmm.
scripted entirely by opening maintenance layouts and slapping variables with IDs in the correct places so a record will appear on
Yeah.
the portal.
So what we'll do in the script. I mean, we can write this right now if we want to go ahead and do it. We got a couple minutes here, but we're gonna well, we'll just script it. Why not? I
Yeah,
guess we're
just
not
might
sure.
instead of just talking through it, let's just make a script.
Let's just make a script, everyone. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I got projects, and in projects I have processes.
Yeah, it's just simple looping. Sorry, someone who asked the question. It's easy, it just feels clunky. I thought there might be a simpler technique. Um,
Okay, back up. That's
this
simple.
that is the simple
Okay,
technique.
back up. It's clunky but simple, right?
Yes.
So the flip
There
side of
there is
this,
there are less clunky techniques, but they're a heck of a lot more complicated.
yeah. So you want to be easy and clunky, or amazingly, it's like Bond, James Bond, shaken, not stirred. I'm so suave and debonair, and I'm so beautiful. And then you have to like do calculus to make it work. Someone says it's clunk. I get that. I
No,
totally get it.
this is also a weird case where we're handling three different tables at once, and anything where you have three different tables in one script is gonna get clunky.
A new set of line items. So what I'm going to do on this, so everyone's clear on this, I'm going to write this code, and what I'm going to do is we'll activate it from over here. And what I'm going to do real quick, just so I can set it up so it's all going to get nice and snazzy. I'm going to come over here. Where's the, no, I want to layout mode.
Which one are you looking for? We have a lot.
A lot of them are, oh, this one right here. This one right here. I want to go to the main one. Okay, here we go. Browse
Alright.
mode. So I'm going to create a new library name. This is going to be called Larry the Marine Pirate Parts Kit. Okay, there we go. Parts Kit. Okay, so then we go. So now it's got this in, and it's going to be M4 with 6X mags. Okay, then we need some we need some of those launch grenades, the 40 millimeter grenades, 40 millimeter grenades that we can launch from Mount Runner. Grenades, right? And it's part number whatever and part number whatever. And then we need a couple tear gas smoke grenades, right? We need some of that too. That way we can call for extract grenade. If any of you missed our 60-day training, you had no idea the fun that we had with that. All right, so here's what we have. So this is the parts. I'm going to put one more in here. I'm going to say type for a body armor. There we go. And that's a A61 and then dash foobar. That's your body armor kind. All right, so this is the target to bring in. So we've already set up, this is a library. It's all set up with this parts kit on it, okay? I didn't have to have this open, right? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the script over here. So here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a variable, and the variable are going to be, I'm going to use temporary variables, or I could use, well, let's just say project ID. And I'm going to specify this. So we're starting this on T16 on a layout that belongs to T16. Layout that belongs to T16. I'm going to say ID project. Okay, project. There it is. So I've got that. So we have that now saved in here. Oop, go up here, shift return, come down here. Then I'm going to say new window, whoop, right? And we're just going to talk someone through it. Like, well, what are we going to do? We're going to open a new window. What layout are we going to go to in the window? I want to open up the what we're going to do is we're going to have come up with a way. I don't want to go through the dialogue because we will run out of time if I have to build the whole thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that we know the library number already. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to hard code that one piece. But I
Yeah.
want people to understand this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop open the part library line items on TV. I'm going to hit. Okay, it Zoom just popped. It's pissing me off. I hate that when it does that. It's going to pop this up. Okay, I'm going to say whatever 100. I just whatever. That's fine. Okay, hit OK there, and then I'm going to say. But I'm going to I'm going to change the name. I need a specific name because we want to be able to target the window name and we're not sure what the name will be. Because right up here, look up here, I didn't specify the name up here. It's the name of the file plus the name of the server. So we're just going to call this parts library. And we need to be very specific about that. Okay. So we say, okay, then I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to say another new window. Okay. This is going to be a new window. It's going to be called the parts used. Okay. On project. Okay. And I'm going to say, and that will open up another layout. Okay. So parts used on project. This one right here, Margaret? Is that the
Yeah.
one on TV part?
No,
No.
I think that's the one that you
Okay. I
want.
think so. We'll try that. Okay. So we hit okay. Position, I'll just say 100, or I'll say 200, 200. This is so they resize into an interesting spot. This one here, I'll have it start. Otherwise, it's just gonna the windows will tend to overstack and overlap, and you can't
And you
even
have
see
no
that the
idea that there's layers. Yep.
yeah. So then we're on this one. We're on the parts in the project. I'm gonna say um now to proceed forward, we want to start creating new records and stuff. Okay. So let's just walk through this first. Let's just do this. Okay, so go to layout, and we want to go to the layout named layout. Not correction, wrong. Go to window.
Okay, I was about to say I was like confused. I'm like, huh?
I'm not sure if not go to window. It's adjust window, arrange window, select window.
There we go.
All right, current window. No. Okay, and I need a window name is going to be what was it called? A parts
That's
library.
library. Yeah, parts library.
Okay, library. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes,
Does that match that up
it
there? Okay, great.
does. Yep.
Okay, great. Current file only. I don't. Then that's a multi-file. So we're now. So we open this window. Then we open this window. Then we told FileMaker to go back to this window over here. Well, you could do that a dozen different ways to make it more efficient. This is designed to be simple. If I want fancy and to confuse all of you and to waste all your time, yes, I could make it more fancy. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. So everyone, when the show's over, you can all go do this yourself as a goal. Okay. Select the window. I'm going
Hmm.
to say, now we could say copy, paste, but we're going to do is we're going to do the set variable again. I'm going to say set dollar. Well, actually, that's not even good yet. Hang on one second. We first thing we need to do is we need to isolate the correct library. So what I would do is it's going to grab that. I'm going to fake a variable up here. So warning, hashtag.
This is a fake variable.
I am, okay, is this actually on here? Okay, it's being difficult. There it is. Okay, it's being a piece of, I'm trying to select it. There it goes. This is hard coded, but in reality, the user would have selected. And so when you get the sample file, this will be out of here and it'll actually be able to select it. But in reality, the user would have selected from a pop-up list of available libraries. Okay. So there's my little note comment. Okay. So now I'm gonna hard code it. I'm gonna say ID I'm going to say ID library. What was the library's numbers, Margaret? Do we have
It
an idea?
was the problem is it had like a long list in front of it. It wasn't just the number. It was like part lib. Nope. Go into mouse layouts. It's hiding in mouse layouts at the very bottom. There you go.
There we go. Okay.
It's
All right.
part lib
So
0020 is what we want.
yeah, but we want 21 because we want the Houthi pirate parts kit.
Ah, I see.
Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to close it, come back over here. We know that's the value. So that would be a pop-up of the available libraries. Once again, I'm just library. I'm going to say, specify, I'm going to hard code it. Bing, bing, bing. Okay. But I documented that we're hard coding it. So we all know that this right here, I just saved us another 30, probably about 30 minutes of work at high speed. I want to get this done for everyone. So we
Mm-hmm.
set it there. Pop a new window. Pop a new window. We go back to the parts library. Okay. We're going to say enter find mode. Okay. Pause on. Set field. The field we're going to want in the, we're not going to be in projects. We're going to be
Be in
in
parts library. So 34, right?
parts library line items. We want the line items, right? Oh,
Oh,
not 34A. We want that one. There's it.
oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. You want 30. Yep. Okay.
ID parts library foreign key. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to set it to dollar library. Okay. So
Yes.
what it basically did is then let's see, come over here, perform find. Okay. So we hard coded it here. We saved it. We popped the window open so we could do a search on it. Then mm,
We missing something?
I got parts library, but I want
Well, you need the library parts library. Is this?
yeah, because we're because
Oh,
you're
okay.
right.
In that case, you need to change the select window. That's not going to work anymore.
I'm aware. I am going to fix this.
Line items.
Okay, so everyone clearing this. So this is the source of the line items that we want to basically copy and paste back and forth here. Back and forth, copy paste, copy paste.
Okay.
But we're not using copy paste, right? So we pop both windows up. Then we're going to go to this one here. We're going to perform a search for the parts kit of all the line items that belong to that parts kit.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to should do trap for error. I'm not going to bother because we know it'll work, but this is where anytime you do a find, you want to trap for errors. Then I'm going to say, I want to basically set a variable again, and I'm going to say dollar part name. I'm going to specify the value is going over to what is it? Library line items here. I want the part name. I hit OK. The parts name, I got that set. I set the variable. So we captured the part name. Then I'm going to, this is the copy paste, but I'm not, part number. And then anything else we wanted to capture, we would do the same thing. So see now it lost its spot, but that's why we number everything so we can find what we're looking for when everything wants T35 part number. So then when we're doing this, if we wanted to grab the price, the cost, the whatever else or values that were in there, even you could even capture the primary key so you could connect the two parts together if you wanted to. Probably a good idea. So then you would say, well, I've done that. So now I want to jump. So this is where basically it's I'm going to say comment. I want to, okay, copy the source part info. And then I'm going to say over here, let me come down here, put lots of white space in here, paste the source part info into the actual parts used on the project. Okay, does that make sense? So we copy it here, kind of copy paste. Once again, I'm using that terminology. We jump down here, then we can do, now we're down here, but it has to go into new record. So we say new record, we get a blank record. Now what are we going to do? Set field. Okay, what do we want to set the field? Target the field. The field should be, we're going to be in parts used on projects. So first I'm going to do is the project here, right? So that way we know what it belongs to, right? And we're going to say dollar project ID. See, it's a variable you already set. Oh, you're like, wow, that's fancy. Yeah. So select the window, create the new record, come up here, this window make a little smaller, scroll down here. Then I'm going to say, well, since we've done that, we're also going to come over here. We're going to set, we're on this right here. We're going to set the, we want the part name. And I'm going to set this over here to the part dollar part name. Okay. Then I'm going to duplicate this line again. Duplicate. There we go. And then I'll put a couple of returns in here so we can see this. So we copied it. Then we came over, create a new record, set it to the project. So goes back to its project. And we have the part name and then the part number. Okay. And you're like, well, this is really good. It just only did one record and it stopped. Right. Part number. Okay. All right. So then you're like, well, that's just the first one. What kind of bullshit is this? Okay. Well, so we did a find.
Yes.
What I'm going to say is go to, and this is, I don't think you need this, but just so everyone's clear, we have a found set of records. Go to record first. Cool.
Yes.
Now enter a loop because we're going to go around in circles down to each one. Ding, 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 ding. Right? We get to the end. Okay. So we start off the context when we start right here. Okay, I'm going to say the loop starts on the parts. It's a library parts line items with correct found set. Okay, that's how the loop starts at the beginning. So in fact, I'm going to put this right here above it. So then we know we're at the correct spot. It's going to copy this. Then it jumps to this other window. It sets these fields. So then when you come back up here, it's going to assume that it's still on the correct, necessarily the correct record, but the correct layout. Well, it's not. So we have to tell it to go back to the first window. Okay. Makes sense. Go back to the
I'm confused. Isn't that the wrong window?
Oh, that's the wrong one. It's the wrong one right here.
I was reading this. I'm like, this is not right.
Parts. It should be used on
used
projects.
on project, I think, but I don't know how you spelled that.
Right there. Yeah,
used on project. Okay.
Project singular. Okay. So there we go. Try this again. This is why we verbalize this. Some of you are going, oh, this is clunky. Yeah, but it's simple, right? Think look how simple this is.
Okay,
Well,
then we need to fix the second select window, right?
First, loop, copy. We're on the right place. Come down here. We're on use on project. Then
you want to go back. Yes.
Then we want to go back. And then we say, go to record next. And we say exit after last. So it's going to go to the next record. If it can't go to the next record, it's going to exit right here. So it's going to go ching, 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 ching. When it ends up right here, when we get out of here, we're going to be on the parts library line. So what we want to do is we want to tell it to close window. We could be very explicit. We could say close the current window, but we could also say so everyone's clear on what we're closing. Right? We could say parts. That way, when you read the code, it's instead of it being like we're using a pronoun instead of the actual name. Instead of we're going to close Margaret, or we say close her. Well, probably you know it's Margaret, but right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. So you got this guarantee. One. Now the next window, we probably are on the other one that we created, but we should be really very explicit. So we're going to say close parts used on projects. Project singular. Okay. So we close those two, then we'll be back on our original window. I think it's done. We'll have to test this out. Okay, so here it is. So it's like it's like a checkbox right here. It's over here. I'm going to create a new project. Boop, boop. Okay, over here. And what we want to do is we're going to turn on the script debugger. We're going to watch this go. A lot of us would be tempted just to let it rip, but I'm short on time and I want to make sure this goes. So we're just going to say, activate the script, this one right here. So remember, it's going to grab the current project and we've already had selected the library we want.
Yes.
So that's the part that it'd be first thing you actually see is pick the library. You pick it, then it would start this script.
Yeah, that's a whole other level of stuff.
It's not, it's actually
It's not
Let's,
complicated. It'd be to open like a new window, and then you have to select and process. Yeah.
yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over here so we can see it. I'm going to say run the script. 1, 2, 3, start. Okay. Now remember, when we're looking at the debugger, stops it, just plays it through, allows us to edit. This steps down. The blue line is what will be executed next. This hasn't run yet. Now you're like, well, how can I tell what it's doing? You could open the data viewer over here. Okay. And I can make it smaller. And you'll see this crap over here. Okay, like that. So I'm on this. And I'm going to step down. 1, 2, 3, step down. There, it grabbed it. See it grabbed it right there? Kind of like copy paste. Now, we hard coded that, which was our kind of our fake. Okay. Step down. We're going to pop a new window. It'll be up here. 1, 2, 3, pop. And it's huge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the window smaller like this. Okay. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little, I'm going to hit the reduce size. So there a little bit. So there we go. Okay. Now it's all the different parts together. This would be millions of parts or thousands of parts or something. Script debugger. Now we're going to pop the second window. 1, 2, 3, pop. There's the second window. Here's it over here. Okay. And so these are the actual parts that show up over here. Okay. So the goal is to find the parts over here that we want so the mechanic doesn't have to do it. Find the parts over here, copy, paste back and forth. So that's what we're going to test now. So now we're going to select, we're on this window right here. The focus is here. We have to say FileMaker, focus on the correct window. Step. Okay. Now this is in focus. Enter find mode. Okay. Here comes the find mode. Set field to that.
Yep.
Perform the find. These are the parts. Okay. Now I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can watch this go. So now we're going to be on record first. Now we're already on record first over here. This is redundant,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm doing it so everyone understands. We're starting at the top of the list and we're going to work our way down. Okay. Enter loop. Set 2 variables over here. You'll see them pop up. 1, 2. There they are down there. Okay. Now we're going to select this window over here. Okay. Now we're going to say new record request. Whoop. And you can't see it because it's hiding over here. Let me make this smaller. There it is right there. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to step down. Did that project ID. Oh, there it is. It's setting the project. Yeah, there's project ID.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Step down, step down. Okay. Then it says, well, you're done with that. So let's go back to the source window and suck up another one. Pop. Okay. Go to next record. We're on this first record. Go to next record. You'll see it jump down here. 1, 2, 3. Pop. Ooh, in loop. Back to the top. Grab, pop. New record. Boop. Paste, paste, paste. Once again, I'm saying paste, but it's set field, set variable. Right?
Yes. Same
So
concept.
now we're going dun, 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 dun. And then the last one, which is the where are we at? Okay, so now this gets good. So we're at the bottom already, right? So then we say select window, first window over here. Now go to next record, exit after last. So there's no another record. You see there's no record? It's going to bounce out of the loop. 1, 2, 3, click out, bounced out. Error 101, records missing. It's fine. We expected that to happen. Close that window. Close that window. You're done.
Ta-da!
Ta-da.
Cool.
So this what we've just done in terms of basically you're grabbing a set of records, moving them from one table to another table is all we've done essentially at the end of the day.
Yes.
Is it hard to do? No, all the commands are very simple. Well, there was no, I thought something would be more eloquent. Well, eloquent comes with complexity. I'm keeping it
Yes.
simple.
Kyle Williams mentioned that like a way to do this eloquently but more complicated is you grab it as a set of JSON.
Uh,
Which
okay,
again,
that's okay. Eloquent level 12, right?
yes,
So
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
we're
Like
at
there's
level 1 here, right? And Kyle has said you could stand on your head butt naked in the mirror and do JSON and it would work. He's totally correct. He's absolutely totally correct. If you're a Kyle level developer, Kyle's a great
yeah.
developer. If someone needs a great FileMaker developer to help you, hire Kyle. He's here. He's absolutely here. He's available. He's on Discord. If you want to find Kyle, hire him. Okay. He's an in-house developer, so it's a W-2 kind of guy or contractor, whatever. But yeah,
But yeah, but I just
yeah,
wanted an example of something really complicated that could accomplish the same thing that probably feels cleaner, but it's definitely nowhere near as simple. So,
yeah. But then you have to have someone like Kyle maintain it, right? So Kyle
yes.
can do simple if he wants. If you were going to hire a developer or programmer, most customers don't tell their developers how to code it because the developers don't want to be told how to do their job.
Yes.
But if you are building a product like Starting Point, we build this so people can come behind us and do the work. Additional considerations have to go into here to make it not crazy, stupid, complex. Some of my engineers like to do that. They like to put complex in the product. And I had one engineer who still works for me. He's about to retire, stuck a bunch of SQL in here, and no one knew what to do with it. I'm not a SQL coder. Da da da. What do I do with this? Call him. Well, he's busy on a project. He doesn't have time to help us. Call a SQL person. Yeah, but SQL people don't want to do FileMaker. Oh, now what? Welcome to the world of crazy. So, how's it going in Discord? Everything cool over there? Is it all
Yep.
code 4?
Yeah, we're all good. People said someone Alex Spring oh hey, he said he enjoyed the stream. He's looking forward to tomorrow. All right,
Yeah.
everybody, have a good one. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
No.